What's going on, guys? Namco and Barkley here, that is his last name, with Fantasy Smack Talk. Obviously, with the shortened off season, there's been a lot of movement, and so this video is going to be reflecting guys that draft day risers and fallers, mainly based on a lot of these moves.
Before we get into it though, don't forget about all of our other rankings, getting those forms, and don't forget about our games, where you can win a sweet FS t-shirt. But Brent, hit him with some players.
Yeah, real quick, those rankings we are updating, so it's not, as stuff happens, we're trying to change them for you. The first guy's going to be a wide receiver out there with the Arizona Cardinals, and no, we're not talking about Larry Fitzgerald, we're talking about the other one. They do start two at least, and that's Andre Roberts. This guy last year had some pretty good games, and now with Kolb coming in, he looks like he's going to be the number 2, better quarterback. We just like the situation.
Yeah, he's not going to get any double coverage either. He's going to be out there single all day long. Next, we got Mario Manningham, another wide receiver that we're bumping up our draft board. Steve Smith out of the picture. Manningham's pretty much locked in at that number 2 wide receiver spot out there. Manning's going to throw for 4,000 yards. They don't throw a ton to the tight end, not a little bit to the running backs, but there's a lot of yards left over. Look for Manningham to gobble up a lot of those.
The next guy was the happiest man in the world when D'Angelo Williams re-signed with the Carolina Panthers. And that's Moreno out there with the Denver Broncos. Everyone thought John Fox was going to bring in his old running back. That didn't happen. But Denver ended up getting McGahee. So we know McGahee's not going to be starting. He might vulture some goal lines, but Moreno's going to be the starter, and he needs to be moved up your draft board because of that.
Another guy that's got to get moved way up your draft board is Best out there with the Lions. With LaShore going down with that nasty injury out for the year, Best is going to be huge, and he might even get overdrafted at this point. Try not to do that, but obviously we like Best a lot more, and you need to shoot him way up.
Guy going down, and that's Sidney Rice. A lot of people are saying since Tavares Jackson went out there as well, they have a good rapport, they know each other. That's crap, but don't buy into that hype. Don't be drafting Sidney Rice even higher because of that. Regardless, it's Seattle. True, they made the playoffs, but they made it with a losing record. They're not that great of an offense. Don't believe the hype with that.
Next, we got another guy we're moving down, and that's my boy Tim Tebow. It's kind of sad, I know. I was getting excited about him, but with all the reports that Kyle Orton is... if Kyle Orton stays there, I do agree that he should probably be the starter out there, but I think everyone in Denver wants to see Tebow. I still think they're probably trying to shop Orton. We just don't know if it's going to happen, but obviously you got to bump Tebow way down.
All right, the next guy is a guy going way up, and that's Chad Ochocinco. Of course, with the Patriots now, people kind of relating it to when Randy Moss came over and had that monster year. We don't think that he's going to be getting over 20 touchdowns, but he could have a very solid year with Tom Brady throwing him the ball. This also really helps Wes Welker out because it will open up the field for him a little bit.
Next, we got a guy who's pretty much become undraftable at this point, and that's your boy, John Baldwin. We did like him as a deep
shot
sleeper.
In the dark.
As a deep sleeper, we did like him, but with Preston moving out there, we really think it's going to be hard for Baldwin to get on the field. You just got to drop him off your draft board.
Even I am sad. All right, the next guy going way down and possibly, if not off, almost off. That's Johnny Knox. And you might think we're a little bit crazy, but he's not guaranteed a starting gig right now. So if you're he's gonna probably go in the middle to the early late rounds, and there's no reason for you to waste a pick on that if there's a chance he's not gonna start. True, at the very end of the draft, great value, but just don't waste a middle round pick on Johnny Knox at this point.
Next, we got a guy who we're actually looking forward to watching this year, but now you got to move him down, and that's Ryan Matthews. He's been a little bit banged up, and they're saying more and more that Tolbert's going to get into the mix, steal some goal lines, and just get a decent amount of carries. At this point, you just can't take a gamble on Matthews early. You gotta wait for him. We still think he's worth a middle round pick, but you gotta drop him down.
But he's not worth end of the second or even middle of the second. That's kind of where he's going in drafts. And conversely, Tolbert's going undrafted in some leagues. Obviously, you got to be moving him up. And the last little bonus guy we're going to talk about is Maurice Jones-Drew. Everybody's talking about this guy, and everyone's so concerned about the knee, and he's really starting to slip down draft boards. Before the year, everyone was thinking top 10 running back because he had a huge year last year, and he was banged up with this knee. The fact that it's lingering is why he's slipping, but he's going at the end of the second round sometimes. If you're sitting there at the end of the second round, Maurice Jones-Drew's there, it's worth the gamble.
You gobble him up at that point. So that's our risers and fallers. We will be keeping up with our rankings and updating them as things change. And as always, get in those forums if you want to talk any football. Dustin, Namco, we'll catch you in the next video.